Okay, it's moving. There was 3 buttons. She forgot the extra click. All right, so how's everybody doing today?
Great.
Awesome. I'm Lloyd Steer. Been with Keller Williams now for 3 years, and get the honor of helping to facilitate Ignite. So I know I've seen several of you in past Ignite classes. So is everybody starting from ground zero? Or I know like she's getting off lucky because she's just doing today and that completes hers. But is everybody else going through the whole program?
Yes.
I started midway,
Okay.
so I missed the initial 3 classes.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to make everybody sign. Did you guys do the agreement of expectations? Last week was week number 1. So I'm going to have you fill these out and sign them and then give them back to me. So in week 1, you had Natalie as an instructor, correct?
Yes.
Was she good?
Awesome.
Yeah. Good. I'll make sure I give her that feedback. So basically what this is a contract for us. So it's a commitment that unless I'm in the hospital, I will be here every week to do Ignite. And in return, obviously you're coming here. So you're committing to attending all the Ignite sessions. You're committing to add 200 or more names and contact information to your database in the first 30 days. Now, let's not get crazy with that. It sounds like a lot, but you don't have to do 200 tomorrow. You need to do 200 in 30 days. Hi, I'm Lloyd.
Hi, Lloyd. I'm Catherine.
Nice to meet you, Catherine. So what that means is if you do 10 per day per week, then in 6 weeks, you're there, right? So do something that's comfortable for you as you go forward. You're committing to lead generation. Last week you learned what business are you in?
Lead generation.
Generation.
Lead generation, right? I get it, you're a salesperson. I get there's customer service that happens and all that kind of stuff. But you don't have any of that if you're not doing your lead gen activities. So calendar with a purpose, block that time off, and know that that's non-negotiable time. Whatever you block, whether it's 2 or 3 hours per day to do whatever lead gen activities you do, whether it's door knocking, cold calling, working your database, meeting with B2B partners, whatever you do it religiously. There's going to be emergencies that happen, and you can move it. So if every day you time block from 10 to 12, and you've got something that comes up, you want to go see Jason Abrams, or we have a Wednesday team meeting, or you're going to be on an airplane somewhere, okay, move it to the afternoon, but don't delete it. Does that make sense? You have to stay consistent with that if you want to build your business. Committing to making calls during Ignite, committing to completing your mission for each power session, committing to prepare for customers by memorizing and using scripts. So we actually have script practice every Monday and Tuesday morning down in Livermore, and I'm working with Natalie to see if we can't do one here in Pleasanton and one in Livermore so that people that don't want to drive to 16 minutes to Livermore in the morning at 8:15 to get there by 8:40, you can just hold off and wait to do the 3-minute drive to Pleasanton and make all the Livermore people drive 16 minutes into Pleasanton. So, and script practice, I know it might sound a little odd. The idea with script practice is that you're building a habit and a skill that you can use so you don't get caught off guard, right? I think one of the big quotes going on right now in professional sports is you don't practice to get it perfect, you practice until you can't get it wrong. By practicing scripts and going over and over those types of things, you don't get caught off guard when somebody says, hey, by the way, will you give me part of your commission? And you're like, wait, what? Well, you can ask for my commission. You don't get caught off guard like that. You can start asking questions and have a conversation around that. Commit to working on your 6 PPs, the personal perspectives, time blocking your calendars. We will look at time blocking as we go through this class because, again, it's the one thing that I'm non-negotiable on in my calendar. And for my little ADHD, there's a squirrel. It helps keep me on track. It's the only way I stay on track. So I know that when something pops up in my calendar, I've got it committed. That's what I'm doing for that time period. And then understand and developing success habits. And by agreeing to this, you're taking control of your own business. If you think you're getting into real estate because you think you can sell $5.5 million homes every year, and you're going to be driving home 200 grand, it doesn't work like that. You may have a couple that fall in your lap here and there, but if you're getting into real estate as a career and or as a business, you have to focus on it like it's a business, right? You can't, sorry for my French here on the recording, but you can't half-ass it. Otherwise, what kind of results are you going to get? Half-assed results. That's exactly what's going to happen. And probably not even that, because people will know that and feel that and feed off that. And you've discussed this commitment with those in your life who have agreed to support you. So that's big. There's another page. This was page 61 out of week 1. On page 62 or 63, one of the two, it's there's actually a contract or covenant for your family, because this is it can be a no joke 24/7 365 job if you let it be. So to get their feedback on what you're doing is going to require sacrifice on both sides. So if you've got them on board, obviously it makes things a lot easier. And of course you'll have me on board, so I'll help you stay on track as well. Okay, so 10-4s. Everybody do their 10-4? Yeah? Should we take a tally? Let's take a tally and see what happened. So, who was here for week 1 last week? Who? Let me ask a better question. Who was not here? G was the only one that wasn't here last week. So you got off. So you get off on this one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more people that were here last week.
There was no class last week.
I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. Oh, 2 weeks ago. So guess what? It should be even great. We should have even bigger, better numbers, right? Okay. So, Prob, how many people do you have in your database?
I've been using like a personal calendar, but I've been doing 2 people a day.
So you have, and it's been at least
It's been 2 weeks, so I got 28.
28? Nice. Heidi, how many people did you put in your database last 2 weeks?
About 10.
10? Okay. Kara?
So what I started doing actually is going through my Facebook
Yep.
and taking people that way and
Yep.
finding their information.
Yep.
We're friends, acquaintances, whatever. So I actually probably put in maybe like 80 from Facebook
Okay,
the
now,
last couple weeks.
so we're going to come back to Kara on that, right? So I'm just going to put Facebook and an asterisk.
Oh, probably about 25.
25. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Gee, you weren't here. Justin.
Say 20 to 25.
So we're going to do another about Abe.
18.
18. He just said 18.
Yeah.
Check. 28. Check.
11.
11. Check.
I
Gary.
have a lot of them to put in. I want to put them in.
Not a problem. I like the honesty. Okay. So here's a couple things, right? So somebody can do math for me, but that looks like a couple hundred people for the group, right? So the one thing that, there's 2 things that concern me a little bit. It shouldn't be about 10, about 80, about 15. You should know how many people you put in, right? You should just be able to go, you're keeping track of them. There's a 10-4 sheet in Keller Williams where you can keep track of that, and you can see what you added in your database. So before you come to class, Tuesday morning, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to look at your database, and you'll be able like, I'm going to tell Lloyd I got 1. It's okay, right? Or I'm going to tell Lloyd I got 80. But know your business and know what you're doing. Be purposeful, right? Keep score. If you're not keeping score, who's going to win? Right? That's the whole idea behind it. So let's talk about Kara's 80 with Facebook, because I love the idea of going back and finding people to put in your database like that. Did you qualify them?
has it, like, how?
Great question. Qualifying database. Abe, or no, wait. Oh, Rick's not here. He's the guy I just got done doing this with. There's a difference between having people in your database and qualifying people in your database. And we're going to get into it, I think, a little more in this chapter. But if you're just throwing people into your database and then you're putting them on a drip system and all that kind of stuff, how many of you love to get spam email from Bed Bath & Beyond and Target? Everybody like that?
That's the best.
Oh, right? It's like I can't wait to open that email. So if you just throw people in your database, you don't tell them what the heck you're doing, guess what? They'll be like, oh my, who is this Lloyd guy? And why do I keep getting emails from him? There was no purpose behind it or intent behind it. So when you qualify your data, I love that you go get people. It's like perfect. So now, if you're having trouble building your database, part of your homework for this week is go make a list of all the people you know. Use Facebook. Get as much information as you can about that person. Emails, phone numbers, addresses, kids, you name it, whatever's available for you. Put them in a list. If you handwrite it, that's great. If you put it in an Excel spreadsheet, that's great. Then we're going to qualify. And the way we qualify them is we use what I call the mayor's speech. And that speech sounds something like this. Hey, Justin, if you were going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or you had a family member that was going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, do you have a realtor that you would prefer to use or that you would refer to somebody else? And he's going to have one of two answers, right? The first one might be yes. Yes, he's got one. Great. If you're face to face, here's my card. I would love to be your number two. If you ever have any questions or something happens with number one, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help. There's more than enough business in this planet to get clients. You're not in the business of taking other people's clients. So if he's got somebody, he's got somebody. You can still put them in your database, but they're not getting drip emails, you're not pinging them, you're not doing that stuff, right? You're just introducing and saying, hey, I'd love to be your backup, okay? If he says, no, I don't, or gives you a story like a lot of people give me, it's like, oh my God, actually, I would never use the realtor that helped buy my house for me. I would never use them again. Oh, great. You know what? I'd love to be that resource for you. And by the way, I like to send out items of value once a month. So if I did that, where would I mail that to? Oh, and by the way, then I like to follow up with an email, just once a month, that has something to do with that item of value. So where would I email that to? And then the last thing is, and you know what? I like to stay in touch with my clients 2 or 3 times a year. Just keep them checked up on the market and see how things are going. How can I get a hold of you? What's the best number to reach you at? Boom. You've got a client now that's qualified in your database. And now when you start sending something to them, they know what it is and what's happening. They know what's coming. Does that make sense? Everybody with me? All right, perfect. Okay. So good job on this. It says 200 contacts within the time period, but I think it's 30 days. Make purposeful movement. I moved out here and didn't know anyone, and then the people that I met were all in real estate. So it was very difficult for me to just start adding 200 people into my database. But nobody is off limits. Friends, family, coworkers, business partners, anybody that you can think of that you run into contact with. You can ask them and qualify them and get their information to put in the database. It may take longer for some, like me, where I wasn't born and raised here and I didn't know a whole bunch of people. And some of you may have grown up here your whole life, been here for 35, 55 years, and your list is 500 people strong and you're starting to sell gangbusters right out of the gate. Make sense?
Yep.
So just make purposeful movement. If you can do 10 per day, it's awesome. I will guarantee if you make 10 contacts, I'm not going to guarantee, that'd be too strong a word. If you are qualifying 10 people every day in your database, that's 50 people for the week, right? I would be shocked if you didn't get one transaction out of that 50. Because somebody is going to know somebody that's doing something, or somebody is going to be making that buy, sell, or investment purchase. And it's happened with all my mentees. They get maybe 30 or 40 people into their database, and they're calling me back going, oh my God, they want to sell their house, what do I do? Perfect. We do a listing presentation, we get a sign in the ground, and we move forward. Or buying, right? Okay. So good for week one. So today we're going to be talking about building your business, expectations and the action reveal. So from that standpoint, did everybody complete their mission prior to coming here? Who did not complete their mission for 2? Okay, she got a break this week because she wasn't here. Justin, okay, so everybody else did. So building the most important tool you have as an agent is your database. And we just got done talking about database. Your database will transfer into money. Okay? If you have 10 contacts and I have 1,000, how much business were we going to do comparatively? Right? I'm going to do a lot more because I have more people in my database and I'm paying attention to them. It's one thing to have a database and work with the database. It's a whole other thing just to have a database. But that database is all your information and all your knowledge. So we did contacts, all that kind of stuff. We don't have videos to do. Lead generate for business. We're going to be looking for buyers and sellers, add new contacts, organize. So let's touch on that real quick on page 5. Organizing and categorizing your contacts for targeted marketing, and then putting your contacts on the marketing campaign. So let's go back to that example that I had with Justin where he says no, or he says yes, I already have a real estate agent. They're going to go in your database, but you're going to categorize them differently than somebody who says no, I don't have an agent. Right? If they don't have an agent, you are now asking for their business, they get elevated. They can now go on a marketing campaign or your drip campaign that you have set up in Command. Okay? Is everybody who has not logged into Command? Okay, good. Who has not added any contacts into Command? Okay? You can do that through Kelly and you can do it through Command. There's all kinds of videos as you're qualifying your database this week. All of these people, put them into Command. It's really straightforward, easy exercise. If you get stuck, we can take a couple minutes next week and talk about that. Or if you're using an Excel spreadsheet to get your contacts, put them in as first name in your column. Who's not familiar with Excel? Okay, so you have columns and you have rows. The rows are going to be your records. Your columns are going to be first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, phone, email, and then you can put something in qualified, yes or no. If they're not qualified, you create your own little thing that says they've already got an agent or now I can be their agent. And then you can create another column on how you categorize them. So just for general purposes, I have 4 categories. So I have A+ people, and these are people that refer me business multiple times. I have A people, and they've referred me at least one client, and they are more than willing to use me again. I have Bs, and Bs are people that would use me and recommend me if I taught them. So I need to stay in touch with them and help bring them along and nurture them to hopefully move them into the A's and the A+. I have C's, which means I need to qualify them. I got to call them up and find out, are you on the fence? Are you in my game? Or are you not in my game? And then I have a D, so I guess that's 5 categories. And my D's are people that either already have somebody or decided not to work with me or they're whatever. They don't go away, but they stay in my D's. So you can categorize people like that so that you know what bucket to put them in and you know how to nurture them based on your marketing campaign. Right? If somebody says, I'm looking to buy a house in the next 3 months, you're going to want to get them on something that shows them something at least once a week on what they should be doing to get prepared to buy. Make sense? Yep. Who does not have their KW profile set up? Good. We're not in eEdge anymore, so now we're on to Command. So everybody's in Command and logged in. And brand your KW app. Does everybody have you all have your KW app? What I mean by that is, I know it's really hard to see, but it's the little KW and it's the Keller Williams app. And when it pops up, it brands as Lloyd Steer. So now I can text and email and do all that kind of stuff. Do all of you have that? If you don't, you need to get the KW app, download it, because this way, when people come to you and they say, hey, I saw this home in Zillow, and you throw up all over yourselves because you know what Zillow's like. You can say, listen, I have a direct connect right to the MLS. Let me text it to you, and you can set up your search so that everything's good, and it'll just show you the houses you want. And there are so many things you can do with the app, but this is a great way for them to keep you top of mind. And also, they can send you the houses. If they find something they like, they can just say, contact my agent, and it'll send the agent right over to them. Great tool.
Is that the same as the RPR app?
No.
This is slightly different? Because I have the RPR, which I can send out stuff on.
I'll just show it to you. It looks like
It's,
that.
yes, sir.
Okay.
When you have the,
Okay.
if you log into the intranet, you should be able to get your code.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the 10-4. You can actually, when you log in to Keller Williams, you can go to www.104.com, and you're going to see this right here. Actually, well, we got 2 people with laptops, so, but you're going to want to try it. Actually, bring your laptops to class next time, because we can do some of the stuff as we go through that, and we can add contacts, and you'll be making phone calls in class anyway, so you can update your database on the fly right then and there. But when you get to www.10-4, this daily10-4.com, you can enter your 10-4, and it'll just pop up, and it'll say, how many people did you add to your database? And you just click the plus sign, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. How many calls, how many notes, how many interactions you have with your client, and then you save it, and pretty soon you'll start getting something that looks like this. So 9 phone calls, 10, whatever that is, number of corrections, handwritten notes, and then how many homes you previewed. Does everybody in here have note cards? No? Nobody has note cards. You have some? If you don't have note cards, go buy Hallmark, go buy Amazon, go buy somewhere and get a pack of like 50 or 100 note cards. They can say thank you, they can be balloons, they can do whatever. The power of a handwritten note to a client that you've talked to or interacted with is extremely valuable. When you guys pick up your mail at night, what do you look for when you go through? Right, it's like, oh, look, another Bed Bath & Beyond. Oh, there's my Target statement. Oh, good, another Visa bill. What the hell is that? Somebody wrote me a note, right? It came in a different shaped envelope, right? Wasn't the standard number 10 envelope. That's the first thing you open, right? You're like so excited to say, oh my God, what did somebody do? And it can be something extremely simple. Hey, it was so nice to talk to you today, Heidi. Let me know if I can ever do anything in the future. And by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Thanks, Lloyd. In the mail. The fact that I took the time to do that and recognize what we're doing, she will absolutely remember it. Or you cannot do anything and see how that works for you. So homework, if you got to write it down, write it down. Amazon, I don't care where you get the note cards, get a ton of them. I probably do 50 note cards a month. 40 to 50 handwritten notes that I do per month. I'll run into somebody. I dropped off a pumpkin today with one of my old clients. He invited me in, shows him what he's doing with the renovation. And when we get to our practical application today, guess what kind of note card I'm writing? Hey Neil, it's great to see you. The house is looking really good. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And by the way, I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. Lick, stamp, gone. Right? Contact, meaningful contact, not just a, oh, here's another email spam from Target kind of thing. So we'll do this next week. So everybody bring your laptops as we go forward, okay? Okay. I think we covered that. Right? The only thing we didn't cover is preview 10 homes. Now, why do we want to preview homes?
What you're talking about.
Okay, what was that?
market.
Know the market, you know what you're talking about. What else?
Just say if you have any client, you are not showing them each and everything.
Right? You can now disseminate and show your clients what they really want versus something they don't want. One more thing, we go to our marketing meetings and we go on tour. What else? What's another big benefit of doing that? There's one more of it we're missing.
You know what is coming in the market.
What kind of networking?
Like with other agents?
Woo! Gara wins the gold star. The more prevalent you are in the marketplace, people will know you. If you're invisible, nobody knows you. You're trying to get from invisible to visible. And the more times you show up on tour, the more times you show up at marketing meetings, the more times you show up at team meetings, you then become credible. Because they're like, oh my God, Abe is always here. I see that guy everywhere. Then you become profitable. Because now people will know you and associate you with somebody who gets stuff done versus just some part-time person that's just flying around by the seat of their pants. Make sense? Everybody with me? Okay. So all good answers and networking, right? Big reasons. Okay. I know this is the fun part. Everybody loves to actually do work, right? So how many have been doing real estate for less than a year? Less than a year in real estate. Yeah? Abe's he's been doing it 41 years, so he wins. So guess what we get to do now? We get to be realtors. So we're actually going to pick up the phone. We're actually going to call people. We're actually going to ask for business and or qualify our database, right? We're just going to do it. It says for 20 minutes. But I want to go to page 10, 11, and 12. There are some scripts in there that you can use. Oh, that's a good reminder for me as well. So, how many love the phone call at dinner time from Yelp? Hey, I see you just opened a real estate business in Pleasanton and Livermore. Hey, you know what I do is I like to sell ads for realtors and help get in front of you, right? You love that phone call. I can tell just by your facial expressions what's going on. So do you think our clients are going to think that way? If we're calling them? They might, right? But that's our own limiting belief, right? That's just our belief of what's going to happen. In my experience, if you call for a purpose, keep it short and sweet. I do what's called the Ford method. It's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And you don't have to use them all every time, but it's great icebreakers, right? It's, hey, G, just calling to see how things are going. You know, how's your husband doing? Oh, great. That's good to hear. How's that? You know, I heard you just got into real estate, blah, 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 right? You just kind of walk through the transition very naturally. But the purpose at the end is to get business. So you ask the question. I had a friend of mine who said, a closed mouth never eats. One thing in sales, you have to ask for the business or you won't get it. People aren't just going to voluntarily regurgitate a bunch of clients on you that you can get. So practice. Hey, by the way, I am never too busy for your referrals. Do you happen to have any at this time? Or do you know a friend or a family member that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? The key things with that is being specific, right? Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home? Oh my God, my brain just went into hyperdrive. Do I know anyone? Well, let's see, out of the 2,000 people that I know, no, my brain shut down as soon as you said anyone. But Gary, do you know anybody at church that's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate? Ooh, holy crap, that's a finite number. It's maybe 50 people I know at church. Maybe there is somebody there, right? So be purposeful and be specific because that will get you the results. That make sense? So you can use the scripts that are in here. And some of them, if you're brand new, like Prab is brand new, so he's going to be calling his database and they have no idea he's selling real estate because he's still a gajillionaire at a .com in San Francisco and he's just moving into this business. So he's going to be calling up and go, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I am now in real estate with Keller Williams. Blah, 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 blah. And there's a script that introduces you as a new agent. There's scripts for, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, because Kara's on the phone all the time with her clients, so maybe she's making repeat phone calls now, right? Oh, I totally screwed up and did not stay in touch with you. I apologize. It wasn't my intention, yada, yada, and you keep going. There's scripts in there for all of that. So we are going to take, it is now, well, it's 1:05. So let's go till 1:20. We'll take 15 minutes and make those phone calls, qualify your database, and or ask for appointments and or referrals. Anybody got any questions? Because you're super scared looking at me right now. So Justin, we did this last time in the Ignite I taught last session, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
What did everybody say before we left the room?
No one's gonna pick up.
Nobody's gonna pick up. Oh my God, I'm calling them in the middle of the day. How many people got people on the phone?
80% of calls.
Right? Like everybody that was in, they came back, they're like, oh my God, I talked to 2 or 3 people. Know that they're gonna answer the phone. And when they do, make it purposeful for them. Make it a reason that they wanna pick up your phone call. Make sense? Okay, scatter about, do your thing. Oh, Kara. Oh my God. Oh my God, I gotta make a phone call.